Welcome to Mouthpiece Theater. I'm Chris Saliza.
And I'm Dana Milbank. If Italian is the language of love, it stands to reason that Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi would be particularly fluent. Berlusconi, who once noted that President Obama, quote, has a good tan, unquote, came to the White House yesterday in hopes that being seen with the popular American president would distract Italians from a sex scandal back home so steamy that it makes Bill Clinton look like Steve Carell.
Berlusconi's wife last month announced that she was seeking a divorce after her husband went to the 18th birthday party of a lingerie model. Then, photos emerged showing nude men and women cavorting at the Prime Minister's villa. Italian newspapers, loyal to the Prime Minister, retaliated by running topless photographs of the soon-to-be former Mrs. Berlusconi.
Despite the scandals, Berlusconi's party did very well in this month's European parliamentary elections, which may have had something to do with Berlusconi's attractive slate of candidates, a reality show contestant, 2 television actresses, and a former Miss Italy contestant. Let's just say that all 4 have been endowed with some really nice resumes. Still, the scandal must be weighing on Berlusconi's mind, as this tape of his meeting with Obama indicates.
Presidente Obama,
teenager, nude bathing, lingerie model, naked women, my villa, my wife. Now that's amore.
We turn to one of the most celebrated mouthpieces in Washington, Republican Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann of Minnesota. She nearly lost her seat last year after accusing the president of being anti-American and suggesting an investigation to see which other members of Congress are anti-American.
Now, in what can only be interpreted as a gift to the hosts of Mouthpiece Theater, Bachmann said she won't rule out running for governor next year, telling Minnesota Public Radio that if, quote, I had the tug, I'd do it. Well, consider this a tug, Congresswoman.
Bachmann is so popular among the party's base that she might actually win the primary, but she's considered so eccentric by most Minnesotans that if she wins the general election, we'll eat our pipes.
But at least we would learn, once and for all, which Minnesotans are pro-Minnesota and which are anti-Minnesota.
For Republican Congressman Mark Kirk of Illinois, politics stops at the water's edge, in his case, the Yangtze River. Kirk said that on a recent trip to China, he told government officials of the communist nation that, quote, the budget numbers that the U.S. government has put forward should not be believed, end quote.
This striking admission raises a question. Did somebody put melamine in this guy's coffee?
Of course, what Kirk said is true. Vice President Biden admitted as much on Sunday when he told Meet the Press that everybody guessed wrong when the administration put out its rosy unemployment forecasts.
But Congressman, shh. You're not supposed to let the Chinese in on it. If they stop buying all those treasuries, the full faith and credit of the U.S. government is going to look a lot like that of General Motors.
Former President George H.W. Bush jumped out of a plane at 10,000 feet to celebrate his 85th birthday last week. He must have jarred something loose in the freefall because he sat down the next day with Joe Curl of the Washington Times and gave a rather thoughtful critique of the belief that Republicans have no future. Said the 41st president, I don't believe it.
Now that's understandable given that the person most responsible for the Republican demise is his own son. But he seems to have misunderstood the analysis. People aren't saying the Republican Party has no future, they're saying it has no present. And for those of you hungry for more Bush leadership, the patriarch of the family also has this advice for the Republican Party. I think they need to do what my son Jeb thinks. Good advice, sir, but we've decided instead to do what your granddaughter Jenna thinks.